everyone, welcome to Psychology 311. My name is Veronica Cole and I'm going to be your instructor this semester. I'm just making this video to help orient us to the class, the basic format of it, as well as what you can expect from me and what I expect of you. But first I just sort of want to say how excited I am to work with all of you. We're a big class. There's over 72 of us. I think there's 73. I don't know why I said over 72, but there is over 72. Like, that is a true statement. But there's a lot of us. But I do really look forward to connecting with all of you and helping you all to connect with one another. This is kind of silly, but I am filming. So I'm filming in my house, obviously, and I'm filming in front of this map, which, as you can see, is the world but upside down. It's one of my favorite things in our house. I'm filming in front of it for a couple of reasons. The first is that we live in a relatively small house, and it is one of the few places that I can get like an uninterrupted shot. But the other reason is that I know it feels a bit like the world is upside down right now. As corny as this is, I just sort of want to let you know that I'm here as a resource for you as we sort of navigate through these strangely familiar at this point, but still kind of uncharted waters. And I'm excited to work with you. And I think that we can make this a really meaningful experience, despite the fact that things are a little different than maybe we thought they would be. So the format of this class is a little different than maybe even what you've experienced up until this point. So we are going to be mostly asynchronous, but there are going to be some synchronous components. Let me go through the sort of three major areas of the class. The first is video lectures. So I'm going to be pre-recording material that corresponds to the lectures that we would be doing if we were in person. They'll be posted on a weekly basis, and I will update you with sort of when they've been posted and what material has been posted. I need you to keep up with these. They are mandatory. I know that you have a lot of videos to watch, and I will do my best to make sure that these videos are worth your time. But if something's in a video, it's because we've decided that you really do need to know it. So watching these videos is mandatory. The second is lab sessions. These will be synchronous and on Wednesdays. Now, there's some variation in the format. If you're in the 8 a.m. or 2:30 p.m. section, you'll be online and you'll be receiving an email from the TA with instructions for how to access the Zoom session. If you are in the 10 a.m. or noon section, you'll be in person in Green Hall. So you will be talking with your TA sort of about how to coordinate that. But the thing to know about lab sessions is that they are the primary way for us to communicate like the practical aspects of doing statistical analyses and, conducting rigorous research studies. So they are mandatory as well. Whereas the lectures that I'll be giving you kind of focus on things from a theoretical standpoint, the labs are really important to reinforce the skills that you will need as a research psychologist. They too are mandatory. The third component is another synchronous online component. On Fridays between 2 and 2:50 p.m. Eastern, I will be on Zoom for a synchronous session. This is optional. You do not have to come to this. I will not record it, but you do not have to come to it. The goal of these sessions is for those who prefer sort of a more participatory format or who have questions to come and get live sort of demos from me and live help from me. I think one thing I've learned in this sort of, experience is that we all learn very differently. For some of us, the asynchronous lectures and the, sort of keeping up with the material on your own is sort of your preferred way of going about it. You really might not even want regular contact. For some, participation and sort of talking face-to-face with your instructor is really an integral part of the experience. And I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to do that. So Friday sessions are when we'll work demos and when we'll go through questions that people have. And I will try and give you some sort of advance notice about what sort of stuff we'll be going over. So those are the three major components of the class. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about what other options are available to you and what other things I'll kind of be expecting you to do between those three major things. So there's going to be a lot of ungraded quizzes and demos and worksheets for you to work through. The goal for these is to give you practice for the sorts of problems that are going to be on the exams and that you're going to actually be encountering in the real world. So in general, these will not be graded. Your grade is going to be based on exams, which I'll discuss in a second, and your lab work. But the goal in sort of giving you all of these sort of extra worksheets and stuff like that isn't to create busy work, it's to give you as many resources as you could possibly need to learn the material. The second thing that I want you to know is available to you is sort of on-demand Zoom meetings with me. So we are going to be using Calendly, which is this sort of calendar scheduling tool where you can, which will sort of show you my schedule, and any time that is listed as open, you can just make a meeting with me. I have found that this is actually more effective than office hours because it kind of gives people the chance to pick a time that is, right for them. And in my experience, this is something that, varies widely across people. Some people don't ever want to make a meeting with me, and that is completely fine, doesn't hurt my feelings. Some people like to meet with me every week. Some people like to meet with me once a month. I'm here for you, and I will strive to be available enough that you can make a meeting with me. If you don't see times on the Calendly that work for you, shoot me an email, and I will make sure to find a time that we can both sit down. Finally, I'm going to be sending out checklists every Sunday night that tell you what you have to do for the upcoming week. I have found that this is just a much sort of needed way to keep everyone tethered to a regular schedule. So it sometimes might supersede what's on the syllabus if we're a little ahead or a little behind, but you will be hearing from me every Sunday night just to check in and to let you know what to expect. Your grade in this class is based primarily on three things. The first is exams. So we are going to have 3 exams corresponding to roughly 1, 2, and 3/3 of the way through the material. These exams are open book and open notes. They're going to be on Qualtrics. They're going to be what I call loosely timed, where I am going to know how much time you took on them, and I'm going to give you guidelines, and if you exceed them by a lot, we're going to talk. But they're not going to be, particularly strictly timed. They're open book, open notes, and they are designed to test what we have decided is the most conceptually and practically important information. So feedback I've gotten on these exams before is that they are hard, but that they're fair and that there's generally not too many surprises. And yes, while the exams will be asynchronously administered, we will make sure that everybody has support during the exam if you have clarification questions. The second is your attendance in lab and your completion of lab assignments. So you'll be having lab assignments on a weekly basis. These will often use the statistical program SPSS. Your TA will be recording whether you attend the lecture or the lab session, and also whether you turn in the lab assignment. These are generally graded for completion, so if you make a good faith effort for this, you're going to get full credit. So pretty much if you show up and do the best you can expect to get full credit in this area. Finally, we are going to be having you do 2 research reports, and these are really exciting to me because they are, for a lot of people, the first time, for most people I'd say, the first time that you write a research paper in sort of the way that we do it in psychological science. You're going to write a paper that is in the same sort of format and follows the same general structure that I, my colleagues in this department, and every other department write and submit to journals. So this is really going to be your chance to learn about the craft of writing for a psychological audience. You are not going to collect data for this. We're going to give you data, so you sort of don't need to worry about that. but it will entail you doing analyses, and it will also entail you writing them up in a way that is clear and appropriate for a psychological audience. And we're going to talk pretty extensively about what. Okay, so that's a brief overview of the course. Please look at the syllabus for specifics. There's stuff like, point values associated with stuff and dates that we'll be doing things. But that's mostly what you need to know. And I am just so excited to work with you all and really looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Stay safe, have a good first week of classes, and we will talk soon. Bye!